what is it, the London School of Economics, received his doctorate, now an associate professor at Patrick Henry, of government at Patrick Henry, but someone that we know and love as our own Stephen Baskerville. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks very much, Mike. I want to start off by thanking Mike McCormick and the American Coalition for Fathers and Children for all of their support over the years, all the work that they've done, for the years that I had the privilege of serving as president of ACFC, and for the work that he, Stephen Walker, Jim Simmerad, John McGuire, David Roberts, the chairman of the board, and others have done at the American Coalition for Fathers and Children. I also want to second Mike's appreciation to Larry Holland, Torm House, and those others who have helped so much to get this event going here today in Washington, and of course all of you for coming. I know many of you come from long distances. It's good to see you here. For some of us it's just a metro ride, but for many of you I know it requires a certain sacrifice and hardship just to be here, in addition to the heart-wrenching hardships and torment that many of you go through with your children and with the government bureaucracies and what they've done to you and to your families and to your children. You should know, I just want you to know that it is certainly appreciated. And I have no doubt that, God willing, your children too will someday know about your sacrifice as well. The crisis of the family has reached today dangerous proportions. It's not just divorced fathers, but all parents face an unprecedented attack on their rights as parents, on their very ability to keep their own children. Throughout the United States and other Western democracies, parental rights are rapidly being abrogated. Children are seized without any evidence of wrongdoing, and parents are incarcerated without trial. Whether it's homeschoolers, parents who are the victims of nebulous child abuse accusations, divorced fathers, or others, state functionaries now have so many ways to take away your children and take you too into custody that we now have a virtual gulag for the incarceration of family members. In Virginia, infants are permanently separated from their parents, even though their parents have been exonerated from all charges of abuse. In Ohio, a father is arrested and incarcerated without trial because his adult daughter fails a mathematics examination. In Canada, a court countermands a father's punishment of his 12-year-old child for viewing inappropriate internet sites. In California, homeschoolers are subject to criminal penalties and are told that they have no voice in their children's public school education either. In Illinois, a new law will put electronic GPS tracking bracelets on fathers who have been convicted of no crime. And then, as we all have seen in Texas, in the largest mass seizure of children in American history, Texas social workers seized almost 500 children from their mothers of a polygamous cult, with no trial, no evidentiary hearing, and no evidence of any legal wrongdoing. These high-profile cases, as all of you know, are only the tip of the iceberg. Never before in human history has any government created a machinery whose primary purpose is to take children away from their parents. The Nazis did it, the communists did it, but it wasn't their primary purpose. In America, we have created a multi-billion-dollar machinery that exists for no other purpose. It beggars the imagination that the greatest democracies in the West, children on a massive scale are seized from their parents, parents who are innocent of any legal wrongdoing. And there's almost complete silence from the left, the center, and with a few exceptions, the right as well. G.K. Chesterton once warned that the family is the most important check on government power. In the last few decades, the government has been fighting back. Today, the state is waging a bureaucratic war against the family in general, parents in particular, and fathers above all. The government appropriation of children and the criminalization of their parents is the most dangerous trend in the Western world today. It is by far the most direct threat not only to the family, but to privacy, to civil liberties, and to constitutional government. What all this means today is that children belong not to their parents, but to the state. The state today can seize your children on a variety of pretexts without having to prove, formally charge, or even allege any legal infraction. If Americans realized what was going on today in the name of divorce, they would be outraged. At one time, it was axiomatic that parents had an inviolable right to the care, custody, and companionship of their children, until they, of course, do something to forfeit it. If American parents understood how fragile are their parental rights, how easily their children can be taken away from them, how easily they themselves can be jailed, there would be a national outcry. At least one hopes so. And yet at the same time, the way this is happening, the gradual bureaucratic method by which this is developed over the years, over the decades, and even over the centuries, the mendacious social science that is used to support it, seems to have a kind of enervating effect on all of us, making us incapable of summoning the necessary outrage, indignation against this highly intrusive government machinery. The most intrusive government machinery ever created in the United States. Here's what Brittany Gegner says, whose father was incarcerated, summarily incarcerated without trial because she failed a math examination. She says of all the punishments they could have given him, to make him go to jail, I mean, probation until I got my GED would be reasonable, but to send him to jail, that's overboard. Probation would be reasonable because she fails a test. What law has been broken here? Why is the penal system involved here at all? Perhaps because so many parents are already jailed or under threat of jail for matters equally private. Because the welfare and divorce and public education systems have already involved themselves so intimately in the micromanagement of children's lives. Because unchallenged buzzwords like divorce, custody battle, child abuse, domestic violence, deadbeat dads, these have become commonplace as justifications, unchallenged justifications for almost unlimited government intrusion into private family life. And so we've become desensitized to these obvious abuses of power and inured to the obvious violations of our constitutional protections. We have to question the prospects for a free society when a law-abiding citizen is incarcerated without trial for something that is not a crime and beyond his control, because his daughter fails a mathematics examination and his own daughter believes that he belongs on probation. Despite the sentimental romanticism of many conservatives today, we are not dealing here with British redcoats. This tyranny is highly bureaucratic. It does not seize power in a sudden coup. Little by little, it erodes our freedom, beginning with those who command little public sympathy. Homeschoolers, polygamists, those who are labeled without trial as pedophiles, deadbeats, batterers, or all-around general abusers. But there is no trial, no jury, no presumption of innocence, no due process of law, and no outcry from the rest of us. Like the frog that would jump out of a boiling pot of water but stays in the cool one until it reaches the boiling point, we are barely sensitive to what is taking place here today. We rationalize the various confiscations or incarcerations, and we turn our heads. We look the other way while others are led away in handcuffs. There must be more to this case than we know. We can't examine all the details of this case. He must have done something wrong, we say to ourselves. And so our freedoms disappear. Meanwhile, the bureaucracy expands. More crimes are created. More agents are recruited. More judges are intimidated. More untruths are propagated. More malefactors are searched out until we are all criminals. Parents today live in fear of government officials. Children will be safe and families will be secure when government officials live in fear of parents.
Amen.
As long as the government can pick off parents one at a time, no family, no parents, no children will be safe. America's parents, not just polygamists, not just homeschoolers, not just divorced fathers, but all parents, must stand together in the fight to protect the family generally and our own children in particular. We have to summon the courage to stand up and declare unequivocally to the government, if you touch my children, you will answer to me. Thank you, and God bless you.